budget analysis. Members of Parliament very busy in various committees, and an extension to Mulungushi Conference Center where these members are interacting with various stakeholders. They dissect the 253.1 billion projection that the Minister of Finance made last week on Friday. So quickly, we need to go and into details and look at some of the committees that have considered and which heads were considered today. So starting with the Committee on Local Governance, Housing and Chiefs Affairs, they considered two heads today, and this was head 29, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, and the witnesses were the House of Chiefs, Civil Society for Poverty Reduction also appeared before this committee. The other head that was considered was head 35, and this is the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises Development, and we had the Jesuit Center for Theological Reflection making an appearance and making their submissions.
And the Committee on Legislation and International Agreement did consider head 16, that's the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security. They also considered head 30, and the witnesses that appeared before this committee include the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security, that's the permanent secretary for this particular ministry, the Zambia Correctional Services, and the Director General of the Drug Enforcement Commission. So that's head 16 and head 30.
It is also worth mentioning, Claudette, that once these ministries appear before these committees, they're able to give a policy statement. The ministers are giving policy statement. And what really interested me in this sector budget analysis is the inclusion of provincial ministers. Previously, they were not there to present a policy statement and defend their head. So it's very, very interesting to see and hear a cabinet, or should I say, provincial ministers making policy statements and appear before these various committees. The other committee that took place in the morning today was the Committee on Legal Affairs, Human Rights and Governance, and this also looked at two heads, and head 34, Southern Africa Institute for Policy and Research, did appear before this committee. Head 5, 12, 18, 31 and 34 also were considered. Jesuit for Center for Theological Reflection, Alliance for Community Action also appeared before this committee.
The Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labour Matters did consider head 44, that's the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, head 14, Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development, head 33, Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry, and the witnesses that appeared before this committee include NAPSA, Chamber of Mines, and an organization called Publish What You Pay Zambia.
And we'll be able to chat with Mr. Mishek Mutelo, who is Mitete Member of Parliament. He is a member of the Local Government Accounts Committee, just to have an experience on how it's been the 3 days that his committee has been sitting, and some of the challenges and some of the successes that committee has made this far. So we'll have that privilege of just interacting with him and just getting first-hand information, because they are converging at the Mulungushi Conference Center where they are interacting with various stakeholders. So I would urge you to stick around with us, because that is coming a little later. We have the Committee on Energy, Water Development and Tourism. Claudette, this is a committee for me. You and I, we were doing the production of the address by the Republican President, the expectations of the budget from various stakeholders, and one key issue that came out was what are the expectations in the budget and the presidential address, and most of these people were talking about issues to do with energy. It's something that the country has been grappling with, issue to do with energy, load management. Everyone is complaining. It's now that we've seen the number of hours being increased, and people are a bit excited because they can do one or two things here and there in their salon, in that barbershop. So this committee was interacting today with various stakeholders, and they looked at head 62, and Minister of Energy did appear before this committee, and the minister did present the policy statement. The PS also was among the people that was in the minister's entourage. Again, we had the Worldwide Fund for Nature of Zambia, that's WWF, also making appearance before this committee, Claudette.
Another committee that sat today was the Committee on National Security and Foreign Affairs. They did consider Head 77, that's the Minister of Defense, Head 11, Head 15, Head 17, that's Minister of Home Affairs, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And the witnesses that came through this committee are the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Defense. We also had the Economics Association of Zambia. The Committee on Agriculture also did sit, the Committee on Lands and Natural Resources. They considered Head 86, Ministry of Fisheries and Livestock, Head 89, Ministry of Agriculture, Head 85, 86, and 89, and we did see the Ministry of Lands, Ministry of Fisheries, and Ministry of Agriculture. These are the heads that were actually, considered. The witnesses that appeared before this committee include the Indaba and the Agriculture Policy Research Institute, the National Food and Nutrition Commission, Zambia, National Farmers Union also did appear before the Committee on Agriculture, Lands, and Natural Resources.
All right, other committees that sat earlier in the day was the Committee on Sport and Child Matters. They considered Head 23, Minister of Youth and Sport. The Minister did present the policy statement, and some of the witnesses that appeared before this committee was the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, the Permanent Secretary of the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. We also did see the Human Rights Commission, and all these committees, others did appear on, were broadcasted live on radio, and others were on our social media. That's the National Assembly of Zambia.
Committee on Media, Information and Communications Technologies considered Head 26, that's the Ministry of Information and Media. Head 36, that's the Zambia Correctional Service Commission. And the witnesses that did make an appearance include the IBA, the Human Rights Commission, and an organization called Undikumbukire Project Zambia. And we did also have a policy statement by the Minister of Information and Communications. Another, committee that sat include the Committee on Education, Science and Technology, and they considered Head 66, that's Minister of Technology and Science. And the witnesses include the Minister of Technology and Science, that's the Permanent Secretary. We also had the Ministry of Science and Technology, that's the PS. And moving on to the Committee on Sports and Child Matters, they did consider Head 23, and the Ministry of Youth and Sport actually does fall under Head 23. The witness that made an appearance before the Committee on Sports and Child Matters include the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security, and the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security, and the Human Rights Commission. Like we mentioned in our preamble, we'll be chatting with members of Parliament, chairpersons of different committees that are sitting here at the National Assembly of Zambia, and of course at Mulungushi International Conference Center. This is where we're beaming the sittings of different committees here at the National Assembly of Zambia. I'm now joined by a member of the Local Government Accounts Committee, and this is no other than Mr. Mishek Mutel. Always a pleasure to talk to you, sir. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon. The pleasure is mine. Thank you for this time to interact with you and through you. Like you always put it, taking Parliament closer to people.
To the people, absolutely. The Minister of Finance did present the 2026 national budget on Friday. What do you make of the budget before, we get started with our core business today?
From my own point of view, if you have 81.6 budget supported by local resources, categorically he said 82% local support, budget to be funded from within your resources, that is a plus. You would know that we have had the withdrawal of some aid without the budget being supported by your own local resources. It is problematic. But listening on to the Minister of Finance mentioning that how I wish the economy growing, which is at positive for now, having moved 6 steps from negative to, it's I would say we are in the right direction. We are hoping, all things being equal, come next year for 2027 budget, the 82 should or must increase. Say if you will be at 90, you are becoming independent. You are becoming independent. It's like you've been in your mother's home, your father's home. Now it's a standalone home. So 82% local generated revenue and do the expenditure. To me, that's the way to go. Yes.
You are part of the Local Government Accounts Committee, and you started sitting partially on Friday after the presentation of the budget, and full throttle starting Monday to date. Share with us the experience. How are you scrutinizing the budget? How is it going?
The sector budget, like we have been given, had 88, 90, 93, 95 and 96, dealing with 5 provinces: Machinga, Luapula, Lusaka, Eastern, Northern. Permanent secretaries for those provinces are now able to come to us and say, okay, we budgeted this. Those are the owners. The budget cycle. It starts with the end user. So the permanent secretary and the team, in working hand in hand with the provincial ministers. So we are able to interact with the permanent secretaries at that level. The initiators of their programs. A good number of those we've interacted with up to today are Eastern Province, the provincial minister and the permanent secretary and his team. I would say so far. So you would ask as to why would you have not done A, B, C, D? Why have you done this? Gratifying from Eastern to fresh minds today, the monitoring of the CDF projects and many other projects. We had even the famous HH Road. So all this, when you interact with the people at that level, I should think it's the right way of doing things.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to let you go. I'm sure we'll have more time where we can actually discuss. From what you're saying, it looks like these discussions, interactions you're having will yield positive results at the end of it.
Exactly, and when we'll be done with the provincial ministers and permanent secretaries, we have other stakeholders.
All right.
The Jesuit Center, the Norwegian, the cards, all those will be interacting with them come next week, and then we present to the main, committee, one for budget, later into the House. Then we have the discussions.
We'll be looking forward to that report. Thank you very much, Mr. Mitelo, as you rush to the chamber because we have a special sitting today.
Thank you so very much.
All right, that was Mr. Mitelo. He's a member of the Local Government Accounts Committee, just sharing with us his experiences as him and other members of the Committee on Local Government actually get to interact with various stakeholders that are dissecting the 2026 national budget. We're now joined by Ron Member of Parliament. That's Mr. Chiwie, and as he's getting ready, just to let you know that another committee that did sit is the Committee on Education, Science and Technology. They did consider Head 66, that's the Ministry of Technology and Science, and the witnesses that appeared before this committee include Minister of Technology and Science, Permanent Secretary. Mr. Chiwie, I would like to welcome you to this program. I know for a fact that in a few minutes from now you'll be heading to the chamber for the special sitting of the House. Share with us your experience, but just before you do that, your analysis, brief analysis of the 2026 national budget.
Yeah, thank you very much, Claudette. I can say that 2026 national budget is got something that were not in the 2025 national budget. But I can only be able to say a lot after scrutinizing, after we do our sector budget analysis. Otherwise, the budget itself was quite encouraging.
All right, and so far you fall under the ministry, the Committee on Transport, Works and Supply.
Very correct.
Which heads have you considered so far, and which witnesses have appeared before the committee?
Yeah, thank you very much. So far, under the Committee on Transport, Works and Supply, under which I'm the vice chairperson, we have up to date been looking at the Ministry of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development. We had a policy statement from the minister himself. And we had quite a number of witnesses that has appeared up to today. Yesterday we had the National Aviations, we had the Zambia National Airports Corporation, and today we had RATSA, Zambia Railways, in that order. Yeah.
Any pertinent issues that you think are coming out from these witnesses that are appearing before your committee?
Exactly, Claudette, especially RATSA and the Zambia Railways. We have actually, and I believe we are going to recommend to the expanded budget committee, Zambia Railways needs quite a number of issues that they need to look at, and they need a lot of injection in terms of capital. They are lacking a lot of things that they need to look at. In terms of RATSA also, we are reliably informed that they are the second actually in terms of GDP contribution to the national budget. They come second to Zambia Revenue Authority. But what is hampering them is that they don't have enough human resource. You can imagine at the moment they're sitting at 40% in terms of human resource. And what they're asking for in this in next year's budget is to allow them to increase the numbers to at least 70%. If they can have that numbers to 70%, then they will be able to do all the necessary works and contribute effectively to the national budget. On top of that, they are lacking quite a number of equipment. They don't have enough mobility in terms of motor vehicles. And we're also trying to see how best we can vary their budget to allow them to acquire more vehicles. 2024, they requested for 120 vehicles, but Ministry of Finance had to break it down that they were going to be giving them in 40 batches. But you can imagine up to date, nothing has been given to them. Though the parent ministry, Ministry of Transport and Logistics today, they confirmed that they have actually bought them about 22 vehicles. But all in all, there is a lot that has to be done by RATSA. Yeah.
With these interactions that you're having with these witnesses, the question that is almost on everybody's lips is, what next after these interactions?
Well, of course, when you're doing this interaction, at the end of the day, we need to come and see what we have achieved out of this interaction. We want to see where there are loopholes, we want to see where there are holes, so that at the end of it all, we have to fill up those holes, or not to punch holes again in the same budget. So what we want is, for example, National Aviations, National Airports Corporation, they have been lamenting that they've been paying so much in terms of rand rates. You can imagine the KKKI, the newly refurbished Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, where they used to pay something like 3 million per annum. They are paying 30 million kwacha to the council in terms of rates. So now we are saying that if that money can be paid to one entity, how are they going to carry out their operations? And there are quite a number of issues that they need to look at. So at the end of the budget analysis, we need to come up with the best solutions. Where we'll find problems, we need to sort out those problems and recommend to the powers that be in terms of the budget expanded committee.
All right, so we wish you all the best as you keep on interacting with various, witnesses.
Thank you very much. Very exciting, actually.
Absolutely, and thank you very much. That's Mr. George Wuye. He's a member of the Committee of Transport and Transport, Works and Supply. Absolutely. So he was just, giving us an insight into what they have been, discussing thus far regarding the witnesses that have been coming through or appearing before the Committee on Transport, Works and Supply. And of course, as we go on tomorrow, next week, my colleagues and I will be here to interact with different members of Parliament and other stakeholders as they share with us, what is being discussed here at National Assembly and, of course, at, the Lungushi International Conference Center, where other committees are also, deliberating various issues regarding the 2026 national budget. %.
Well, very insightful interaction we've had with two members of parliament belonging to two different sector committees, and it's very, very insightful to learn some of the interactions that these members of parliament have had with various stakeholders. And Claudette, the few members of parliament that I've interacted with, they're appreciating and also not forgetting other various stakeholders, saying, why did you even take long to go into sector budget analysis? Because quite a number of issues are coming out from various witnesses, like what Honorable Chiwe was talking about, the issue of purchasing vehicles for a certain entity, and the Minister of Finance was there to just clarify. And the other issue, having permanent secretaries, we heard from Honorable Mutelo highlighting some of the benefits of having permanent secretaries from these provincial centers, and because these are the people that interact with various stakeholders. So I think for me it's a way to go, and already we are seeing the results, the positivity in terms of these interactions that members of parliament and together with their chairpersons are having. You know what I think? I think this sector budget analysis is bringing out accountability, from various, stakeholders and these, government institutions that we have. Efficiency, accountability is being, brought out to the fore, and we're able to see how certain monies are actually, accounted for. So let's wait and see what happens. Yeah, and the good part is chairpersons from various committees, together with the members of those various committees, are able to critically analyze why are we allocating this figure to this sector? Don't you think this money should move to the other sector? So at the end of the day, the consensus is reached, and before we know it, submissions, recommendations will be made to the expanded planning and budgeting committee. They'll be able to sit and agree or disagree on certain things, and very, very, very interesting. And shortly we'll be able to see the Right Honourable Madam Speaker's procession making way to the chamber. That was by the commencement of see members of parliament just settling there, waiting for this special seating that you talked about, Claudette, and just as Honorable Shakafusa, they are greeting the Minister of Green Economy and Environment. So very, very, very interesting. I know they've been busy in various committees interacting with these cabinet ministers, and it's good again for them to reconvene today on this special sitting in the chamber. Absolutely. So just to refresh our viewers' minds, last week we did have the Minister of Finance and National Planning. He did present the 2026 national budget, and estimates of revenue and expenditure stood referred to the Portfolio and General Purposes Committee for detailed consideration until Tuesday, 28th October 2025. And the House last week did adjourn accordingly at 16:49 hours. All right, so that's a business that was considered last week before the House was adjourned, and thereafter we did see the members of parliament going to adopt the report. Various committee members did sit on Friday, just after the adjournment, and Tuesday started sitting, and we heard who has appeared before which committee. And let's quickly look at what is expected to be considered on the floor of the House today. There will be Madam Speaker is expected to make announcements, if there will be any, and we expect the ministerial statement to be considered. And the Minister of Green Economy and Environment is expected to render a ministerial statement, and this one is on the 25th that's 2025 to 2026 rainy season focus, and members of parliament will be accorded an opportunity to interact with the cabinet minister and seek clarity from the minister, depending on based on the ministerial statement that he will render on the floor of the House. The House is expected to consider 4 questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 80. But before we go through some of those questions that are expected to be considered on the floor of the House, we do expect Mr. Simongile Mwamba of Kasama Central Constituency to move a motion urging the House to adopt the report of the Parliamentary Select Committee appointed to scrutinize the presidential appointment of Dr. Pamela Sambo, Dr. Felicity Kalunga, Bishop Emmanuel Yona Chikoya, Ms. Panik Malao Chilufya, Ms. Laura Mary Miti, and Father Joseph
Makoma to serve as chairperson, vice chairperson, and commissioners of the Human Rights Commission Board, respectively, for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 30th September 2025. That's the motion that is expected to be, tabled on the floor of the House this afternoon.
We expect one question that is expected to be considered on the floor of the House. This is a question understanding Order 80, and is expected to come from Katombola Member of Parliament, Mr. Andeleki. That's Dr. Clement Andeleki. The member wants to find out from the Minister of Education when the newly introduced secondary school curriculum for forms 1 to 4 will be circulated to all the schools countrywide. And the member also wants to find out how many secondary schools in Kazungula district are ready to implement the new curriculum by January 2026, what the names of the schools at B are, whether they are envisaged implementation of the new curriculum.
Would you expect Parliament, Minister of Home and Internal Security, how many cases of rape and defilement were recorded by the Zambia police countrywide from January 2021 to July 2025, year by year? And more questions will follow. Percent.
Yes, as you can see on your screen, that's the Right Honourable Madam Speaker's procession making way to the chamber. For now, we'll cross.
Honourable Members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
Yeah.
King of Zambia, proud and free, land of faith and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our rights. We want freedom's fight, oh, one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by God's own hand. Let us all our people join as one, brothers under the sun, oh, one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry, dignity and peace in Zambia's sky. Like a noble eagle in its flight, Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be, bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Remain we stand under the flag of our land, Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Honorable members, I have permitted the Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment to present a ministerial statement. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Madam Speaker, I wish to express my sincere gratitude for the honor and privilege you have accorded me to present to this august House the forecast for the 2025-2026 rainfall season. Through you, Madam Speaker, I seek to inform the nation of the projected rainfall patterns for the upcoming season. This forecast is fundamental to our national planning, economic stability, and the livelihoods of our people. The information I present today is designed to support critical planning across our nation's most vital sectors, including agriculture, water, energy, health, and disaster risk management. Madam Speaker, to appreciate the significance of this forecast, we must remember the challenges we recently endured. The 2023-2024 rain season was marked by severe drought induced by the El Nino climate phenomenon. This was a national crisis we are yet to recover from. Our agricultural sector suffered deeply. Maize production declined by over 50%, affecting the food security of over 6 million Zambians and contributing to a painful increase in food prices. The impact of the drought extended across the economy, reducing water availability, pastures for livestock, and critically reducing our hydro power generation capacity. The nation can bear witness to the long hours of load management that have disrupted industries and homes. Furthermore, the 2024-2025 season presented its own setbacks. A delayed onset and below average rainfall during the critical October to December period severely affected the agricultural sector, forcing many of our hardworking farmers to replant their crops, leading to increased cost and uncertainty. Madam Speaker, these recent seasons are a stark reminder of our nation's vulnerability to climate change. They have taught us that accurate, timely meteorological information is not an academic exercise. It is a vital instrument of national defense against extreme weather events and climate shocks. Madam Speaker, for many years, Zambia's meteorological services have faced challenges due to inadequate investment. Recognizing this, the UPND New Dawn government, under the able leadership of His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, has taken decisive action to build a climate-resilient nation. Madam Speaker, I am proud to report that our government has completed the installation of over 200 new automatic weather stations across the country and has established rainfall stations in over 300 agricultural camps. For the first time in our history, we have a modern weather observation station in every single district of Zambia. This investment in infrastructure has been matched by a leap in our technological capabilities with new high-performance computing facilities and advanced satellite receiving systems. Madam Speaker, we have also invested in our people. We are training staff in specialized fields, and most importantly, we are training over 600 agricultural camp extension officers nationwide in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture. This creates a human network to ensure that our forecasts reach the last mile. Smallholder farmers who need them the most. These investments are guided by a new, robust policy framework, including the National Meteorological Policy of 2025 and the recently launched National Framework for Climate Services for Zambia. Together, these present a complete end-to-end system for national climate resilience. Madam Speaker, I now turn to the forecasts for the upcoming 2025-2026 rain season. As we are aware, Zambia's weather patterns are closely influenced by oceanic conditions occurring thousands of kilometers away, particularly in the Pacific and Indian Oceans. The state of the sea surface temperatures in these regions serves as a key indicator of how our rainfall is likely to behave in the months ahead. Currently, sea surface temperatures in the Pacific Oceans are cooling and are projected to continue on this downward trend. This relative cooling gives rise to a climate phenomenon known as La Nina. Although the upcoming La Nina event is expected to be weak, it typically enhances moisture transport into southern Africa. As a result, our region is likely to receive increased rainfall, particularly during the critical months of December, January, and February. Additionally, the Indian Ocean also plays a key role in our rainfall patterns. Current and projected conditions over the Indian Ocean are also expected to push more moisture towards us, further enhancing rainfall during that same period of December, January, and February combined. The combination of a developing La Nina and favorable conditions in the Indian Ocean provides high confidence in the reality of this forecast. These projections are anchored in the regional outlook issued here in Lusaka on 11th September 2025 during our hosting of the 31st Southern Africa Regional Climate Outlook Forum, SACOF 31. Following that regional consensus, the focus has been localized and refined using advanced global climate models and contextualized with local expertise and observational data. It is this national forecast, Madam Speaker, that I have the honor to present today. Madam Speaker, the 2025 and 2026 rain season is projected to unfold in two distinct phases, with overall expectations pointing to normal to above normal rainfall across the country. It must be noted, Madam Speaker, that the start of the rains will not be uniform across the country. An early onset beginning in October is likely for northwestern, western, southern, and parts of Lusaka, Luapula, and the northern provinces. However, a delayed onset, likely in late November to early December, is expected for Muchinga, Eastern, Copperbelt, and the eastern parts of Central Province. The second half of the season will be the peak of our rainfall, from December 2025 to February 2026. This is when the influence of La Nina is expected to strengthen. During this period, the entire country is likely to experience normal to above normal rainfall. This peak period carries a significant risk of flash floods and riverine flooding, especially in low-lying and flood-prone areas. The rain season is expected to end around mid-March in 2026 in the southern half of the country and extend until mid-April 2026 in the northern half. Madam Speaker, a normal to above normal rain season offers an opportunity for our nation from the drought. We anticipate replenishment of dams, the regeneration of pasture, and the recharging of our groundwater. However, a season of normal to above normal rainfall also comes with significant hazards. We must prepare for flash floods, an increase in waterborne diseases like cholera, a surge in malaria cases, potential damage to our public infrastructure. In light of the 2025-2026 rainfall forecast, my ministry is issuing the following advisories to guide national preparedness and safeguard communities, lives, livelihoods, and infrastructure across the country. To our farming community, we urge early land preparation in anticipation of the rains. However, for those located in areas expected to experience a delayed onset, namely Eastern Province, Muchinga, Copperbelt, and parts of Southern and Central Provinces, we advise patience. Farmers in these regions should wait to plant until consistent rainfall has begun in order to reduce the risk of crop failure and ensure successful germination. To the health sector, this focus signals a higher rate for public health system. I call upon health authorities to intensify disease surveillance, ensure the pre-positioning of essential medical supplies, and strengthen public health campaigns focused on water purification, sanitation, and the use of mosquito nets. These measures will be critical in preventing outbreaks of waterborne and vector-borne diseases during the peak rainfall period. To disaster risk managers and infrastructure sectors, I urge immediate collaboration with local authorities to inspect and reinforce critical infrastructure, including bridges, culverts, and urban drainage systems. Contingent funds must be activated without delay, and relief supplies should be strategically pre-positioned in all districts known to be vulnerable to flooding. Madam Speaker, preparedness is a shared national responsibility. I therefore urge our civic leaders, churches, traditional leaders, and communities to take proactive steps in keeping local drainages clear of debris. This simple action can significantly reduce the risk of localized flooding and disease. Indeed, this seasonal forecast is more than a weather update. It is a strategic tool for planning and preparedness across all sectors. We encourage all Zambians, especially our farmers, to stay informed and make decisions based on the most up-to-date weather and climate information. To support this, the Zambia Meteorological Department provides full suite of products, including the seasonal forecast, 10-day agrometeorological bulletins, weekly updates, daily forecasts, and extreme weather alerts. These products are disseminated through multiple platforms. The department's official website, Facebook page, community radio stations, the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation, ZNBC, the Zambia News and Information Services, ZANIS, and our official digital platforms, including mobile applications and SMS alert services. We urge all citizens and stakeholders to make full use of these resources to enhance resilience, protect livelihoods, and strengthen national preparedness. Madam Speaker, as I conclude...
Order, Honorable Member for Kasanengwa, with the Honorable Member from Porokoso, please. If you want to discuss, you can step outside, consult, and then come when you are done. May we listen to the Honorable Minister? You may proceed, Honorable Minister.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, our message is one of preparedness. We have faced the challenge of drought, and we have learned from it. In response, your government has invested strategically in our national capacity to monitor, predict, and respond to the climate. Today, we stand ready to manage the risks and harness the opportunities of the rain season that lies before us. This is a testament to the UPND New Dawn government's commitment to building a climate-resilient and prosperous Zambia. Madam Speaker, I wish you and all the honorable members of this august House a safe and productive 2025-2026 rain season. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Honorable Minister, honorable members are now free to ask questions. Order, honorable members. Honorable members are free to ask questions on points of clarification on the ministerial statement presented by the Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment, the Honorable Member for Solwezi East. Honorable Member for Mkushi South, do you have any problem? Please, can you restrain yourself? You are laughing. Honorable Member for Solwezi East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Minister, for the ministerial statement. Minister, you have just stated that all districts have weather stations. I want to find out from you how the coordination is done in terms of information to the people for preparedness. Because I'm just coming from the constituency, and in my constituency it rained, and the maize for FRA affected, and the officer said we can't buy the maize that is soaked. So how prepared are we then in terms of coordination? If at all the districts have these weather stations, how is it coordinated? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the Member of Parliament for Solwezi East for that question. Madam Speaker, like I said in my statement, the Department of Meteorology gives advisories to different sectors. And information such as the onset of the rain, as indicated in the forecast, now that we have announced, will be passed on to different sectors, including Ministry of Agriculture. In terms of coordination, Madam Speaker, we do collaborate with the Ministry of Agriculture and other ministries that require such information. Unfortunately, for the maize that was soaked in the northwestern province, it's very, very unfortunate, but information from now on will continuously be given out for the 2025-2026 rainfall season to all the relevant sectors. It's very unfortunate that those that were planning to take the maize to the depot probably did not exercise caution. I'm aware, Madam Speaker, that a number of districts in northwestern province have received some rains. We've taken note of that. I want to make mention also that some districts in Luapula province has received some downpour in some parts of the districts of Luapula, and I wish to indicate that our forecast for this week shows that for the next 7 days, we should be having some rains in most of the districts, in parts of the districts of Luapula. So it is important that we take precaution because we are now entering the rain season. So those that have maize and it's not secure, my advice is that let's begin to secure the maize so that we don't lose it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Kasama Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Honorable Minister, you have mentioned in your statement words like La Nina, Indian Ocean current. When it comes to farmers in local communities, the rural areas, they will not be able to pick that. Is there going to be provision to consider having to translate in vernacular what the weather forecast is? And then also, Honorable Minister, I missed the part. How much has been set aside in the 2026 budget for disaster risk reduction? I submit. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I want to thank the Member of Parliament for Kasama Central for that very good question. Madam Speaker, one of the medium of communication to the various communities is the use of community radio stations. And through the community radio stations, our desire is to see to it that this information is passed on in the local languages that will be best understood by the communities. So we shall endeavor, and we normally do this, Madam Speaker. The Department of Meteorology normally translates the advisories in the local languages so that people can understand them better. But just to emphasize that as we pass on this information, particularly to the local radio stations, our expectation is that this information will be passed in the language that is locally understood. So we cannot just stop at the scientific terms such as La Nina, El Nino. We have to break it down to be understood by the particular community which is targeted. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chama South. Oh, Chama North, sorry. Chama North.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Minister, for your ministerial statement. Madam Speaker, every year the Minister comes on this floor of the House to deliver a statement in regard to the weather forecast to enable our farmers plan adequately for the farming season. Now the challenge, Madam Speaker, is that this dissemination of information, especially in the countryside, for example, the remote areas of Chama and other districts, You have talked about community radio stations. Do you have adequate funds to ensure that these programs are able to be done in all the districts covering all radio stations? Do you have adequate funds for the same? I submit.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank Honorable Mtachalo, MP for Chairman North, for that very good question. Madam Speaker, one of our expectations is that the members of Parliament will carry this information into their constituencies to advise the stakeholders. And this is why, Madam Speaker, before announcing it anywhere, we had to come to the House so that through you, Madam Speaker, your honorable members should have this information and assist to disseminate it to all the 156 constituencies. That is one. Then secondly, we are going to pass on this information to the critical media institutions such as Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation and ZANIS, so that through those platforms we can also push this information to the local radio stations. In terms of whether we have enough funds, we might not have enough funds. The different opportunities that we have, particularly the presence of the members of Parliament here to carry this information, but also the presence of the district information, so that through them this information must reach most of our farmers and the various sectors. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. I couldn't help but hear the honorable members say how are they going to carry this information. Maybe you can just clarify on how this can be done, especially that with the honorable members don't have transport. So how, Honorable Minister?
Madam Speaker, what I'm saying is that we are availing this information to the members of Parliament, and the members of Parliament normally have community engagement. My expectation is that as we interact with the constituents, even when they are here, members of Parliament communicate with their constituents. So I expect Madam Speaker, there are mangoes on the meeting, but I just want to assure you, honorable members, through Madam Speaker, that we are right through to the districts and from the to the relevant government officials, and we expect that it will reach most of the stakeholders. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The honorable members have seen that the rain season is here, so mangoes are just around the corner. The honorable member for Ron.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, part of my question has been asked by the honorable member for Solwezi East, but allow you, Madam Speaker, to buttress the same question. Honorable Minister, you have stressed and given the timeline in terms of preparedness to the farmers and what and when they should plant. Madam Speaker, I'm a very worried member of Parliament as I stand. I want to find out from the Honorable Minister whether he's working in silos or in a multi-sectoral approach with other ministries in terms of the 2024-2025 harvest. Madam Speaker, Ron constituency is not a farming block, but there is a lot of maize that is lying out there in the satellite depots. As a matter of emphasizing and stressing, as a matter of urgency, Honorable Minister of Green Economy, how much collaboration is your ministry putting in with the Ministry of Agriculture, probably to ensure that 2025 harvest does not go to waste, looking at the timeline that you have given in terms of when the rains are going to fall? Are we going to see this going to waste, or are you working in collaboration with other ministries to help Ministry of Agriculture to ensure that we mop out all the maize from the satellite depots? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the Member of Parliament for that question. Madam Speaker, I think in terms of mopping out the maize, I think that is the question which can be best answered by the Minister of Agriculture. But in terms of collaboration, passing information as to the rainfall pattern, yes, we are collaborating with the Minister of Agriculture and other ministries that require this information. It is the desire of government, obviously, as I'm saying, that you can ask the Minister of Agriculture, but the desire of government is to ensure that all the maize that is around the country is mopped and secured so that it does not go to waste. But for further details, I think the MP should be at liberty to ask the Minister of Agriculture in terms of the measures that are being put in place to ensure that this maize is secured. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Masaiti.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, how secured are these modern weather observation stations? Take into account wildlife pose a threat with animals damaging this equipment, especially the sensors. Hence, data loss or giving, with your meteorological officers, giving inaccurate information. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I want to thank Honorable Katambo for that question. Madam Speaker, our weather stations are well secure. Wherever we've put these weather stations, we've made sure that they are properly fenced and properly secured. So I can assure you that unless it's a case of people with intention to vandalize or to steal, they go and break in. But in terms of just securing them against trespassers, these weather stations have been properly secured. It must be noted that these are very expensive gadgets, so we could not just install them without ensuring adequate security. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Dudumwezi.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to ask a question. Honorable Minister, thank you so very much for your statement. Honorable Mwimbu, through our Gonde ceremony in Monze, hosts thousands and thousands of people. And every year, we have one man at that traditional ceremony who predicts the rain pattern in each particular year. And he is very accurate, and you will agree with me that a lot of people who attend that particular traditional ceremony have no opportunity to listen to either radio or Parliament TV. To what extent is your minister? Yeah, allow me to ask a question, colleagues.
Oh, the honorable members, I know it's interesting, but let's allow the honorable members.
To what extent, Honorable Minister, or have you studied his predictions of rain? And would you wish to visit him and find out how he does predict rain? Because what he says is what happens annually. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
There's an all the honorable members. There is of order. The honorable member for Zambezi is of order.
Madam Speaker, actively following the honorable ministers, information about and two farmers who have provided bumper for the nation. Now, following that splendid speech, is the honorable member for Dudumwezi in order to come and confuse us with a man who I suspect could be practicing voodoo in Southern Province? And the people of Zambia are just wondering whether these our cousins are in order to continue on that trajectory, confusing the whole nation with such weather forecast using concoctions. Madam Speaker, I need your serious ruling.
The Honorable Member for Zambezi East has not cited any standing order that has been breached. But on a serious note, Honorable Members, let's not speculate, because those issues of being able to predict rain using our traditional methods, I know we are Africans, we believe in them, but then when we bring them before the House, then people will start wondering whether now we are going in other areas which are not factual, cannot be verified. So it will be very difficult, I think, even for the Honorable Minister to respond to such a question. But all those members who would want to know more about those capacities, they can get in touch with the Honorable Member for Dudumwezi outside the House. So with that then, the Honorable Member for Mbabala.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I guess intangible science needs to be revised at Unza where it was almost starting, so that people like the one in Honorable Singombe is talking about can bring their science to the fact for this nation. Madam Speaker and Honorable Minister, thank you so much for that very precise statement. Honorable Minister, you have talked about the rain pattern for various ecological zones, and the Mbabala constituency in Choma is one of those which is frequently affected by flooding and the stormwater issues. What mitigation measures has your ministry put in place to ensure that our ecological zones in that area are basically supported with the necessary measures for us to manage these floodings that are expected as a result of the huge water or storm water, in terms of supporting our dams and redoing our dams, which were some of them are in bad state, and also controlling the water flows so much that we can flow the water into the right directions for the streams.
What's the question, Honorable Member?
The question is mitigation measures for our ecological zones that are prone to flooding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I want to thank the Member of Parliament from Mbabala for that question. Madam Speaker, as stated in my statement, I have urged the various stakeholders, including our city planners, city fathers, and the local government, to ensure that they must be on alert as we expect to have normal to above normal rainfall, which might lead to flash floods. So the issue here in terms of mitigation is to raise this alert and ensure that everybody is prepared, starting from Ministry of Health all the way to local government, Ministry of Education. We must all be alert in areas where we expect that we are going to have flooding. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Wengwa.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Minister, thank you for your statement. Minister, how does your ministry, Department of Meteorological under your ministry, collaborate with regional and international meteorological organizations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I want to thank the Member of Parliament for Bwengwa for that question. First of all, to just emphasize that the Meteorological Department under my ministry is in touch with the various countries, regional bodies, particularly under the SADC region. We, Madam Speaker, collaborate from time to time. In fact, before we came up with the 2025 to 2026 rainfall season for Zambia, we had the opportunity, Madam Speaker, to host the regional conference where all the experts from the SADC region came to Zambia to sit together, put their expertise together, and produce the forecast 2025-2026 rainfall forecast for the SADC region. After that, we now went to our various countries and reduced that from the regional forecast to the national forecast. So from that example, you can see that we collaborate from time to time with our colleagues in the region and also at a global level with the World Meteorological Organization. We collaborate. So I just want to emphasize here that this collaboration is very, very important because we need to know what is happening at the globe. We need to know what is happening at the continental level in terms of rainfall, but we also need to know what is happening in terms of the region. As you may be aware, through you, Madam Speaker, to the Member of Parliament for Bwengwa, that even the water that we receive in some of our major rivers, this water is not just from the rainfall that we receive within the country. This water comes from across the borders. So it is important that we also check what is happening in Angola and the other countries, because some of the water comes from there into the Zambezi, and our plains in Western Province receives the water from across the borders from Angola and other countries. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Kamfinsa.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to direct a question to the Minister of Green Economy. Minister, you recall I'm on record 2 or 3 years ago asking the Minister of Agriculture a question relating to the output of maize, and obviously one of your clients as a ministry is Ministry of Agriculture. The data that you have is supposed to be utilized by literally all the ministries. My question to you, Minister of Green Economy, you have delivered a statement today on what you are calling rain season forecast, meaning you are predicting, you are estimating. Considering that the Ministry of Agriculture intends to export some of our maize that was anticipated to be produced by our farmers, what information are you providing to the Ministry of Agriculture in relation to the amount of rainfall that we expect? Because clearly the amount of rainfall, Madam Speaker, that we are going to expect will determine the output of maize that we are going to produce next year. So what information are you giving to agriculture so that in case we don't get the correct amount of rainfall, Madam Speaker, we are guiding the Ministry of Agriculture either to export or not to export the maize? Madam Speaker, this statement is very important for purposes of our food security. I hope, Minister, my question is very clear. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the Member of Parliament for Kafisa for that question. Madam Speaker, the information I'm passing to the nation, not only to the Minister of Agriculture, but to the nation, is that During the 2025-2026 rainfall season, we expect to have normal to above normal rainfall, particularly at the peak of the rain season, and this is from December, January to February. That is the information I'm passing. Thank you very much.
But you haven't answered the question.
I don't know whether, because if it's export, then he's going into another ministry. Maybe you can direct that question following that weather forecast. The question can be asked at an appropriate time to the Honorable Minister of Agriculture to respond. Okay, others also want to have an opportunity. The Honorable Member for Chiluvi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the people of Chiluvi an opportunity to ask a question. In the first place, I would like to appreciate, Madam Speaker, that you allowed this statement to come this time, because it's part of early warning package, especially as we go in the rain season. Madam Speaker, Zambia is influenced by intertropical convergence zone, and this influence has got a play in the three parts, the three agroecological zones, 1, 2, and 3, meaning that the way the pattern of rainfall normally is in these three zones is different. I note that the minister has given more of a generic message. Madam Speaker, as I speak, in Chiluvi, I have 24 words. In about 7 words, it has already started raining, and the people there are panicking. They think they don't know whether to plant or not. Given that background, Madam Speaker, meaning that this influence of the intertropical convergence zone, whether it's El Nino involved or other things, it will have a different play in these zones. Are we going to develop generic messages? Because the flash floods that are expected are likely to affect settlements, agriculture, water bodies, and many other factors differently. So are we going to get generic messages, or will have particular packages for different areas as they will be affected differently? I rest my case, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I did indicate, and I want to thank the Member of Parliament for Chiluvi for that question. Madam Speaker, in my statement, I did indicate that the Meteorological Department will continue providing seasonal forecasts, 10-day agrometeorological bulletins, early warning information. So we'll continue providing relevant bulletins to the various provinces. So it's not just, for now, we are giving a general forecast for 2025-2026. But beyond this ministerial statement, beyond the media engagements we are going to have, we'll be issuing the bulletins from time to time so that the people are well informed. As for the provinces and the districts that have started receiving the rains, I did indicate that yes, Northwestern Province, Luapula, a bit of Copper Belt, it rained in Kitwe. We are gathering all this information. It's normal that at this time of the year, we'll start receiving some rains, some drizzling, but we must be careful that we must only start planting when we have sustained rainfall, we have consistent rains. But if we rush into September, early October, you go and plant, we may have, before the actual onset of the rains, we may have a dry spell, and that might damage the maize. So let's ensure that we wait for the actual onset of the rain season 2025-2026. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Chipili.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Although part of the question has been answered by the Minister, I want to find out, because I was at that concern, where the data that has been shared with us here might have been collected 1, 2, 3 months ago. I wanted the Minister to assure Zambian people that he could be coming here every month to share with the information concerning the weather pattern, because there might be some changes in weather pattern. So if he can be doing that every month before we adjourn, we'll appreciate. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the Member of Parliament for Chipiri for that question. And whilst I'm on the floor, Madam Speaker, let me congratulate him for the unique dressing on behalf of the people of Chipiri. Madam Speaker, I did indicate that beyond this ministerial statement, my ministry, through the Meteorological Department, will continue issuing advisories to different sectors, will continue to issue bulletins, and for the benefit of the Member of Parliament, every evening the Meteorological Department issues a weather forecast on ZNBC and various platforms. So we just want to encourage the people of Chipiri and the people of Zambia to be paying attention, to follow the different platforms, to follow the text messages, the weather advisories on the national broadcaster, and also on the various community radio stations. But should there be for our ministry to come and issue an additional ministerial document, that will seek permission, and will be more than happy to issue another one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Since there are just a few more, we can deal with all the member for the okay, Base East. The Honorable Member for Chama South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for that ministerial statement. For me, I would like you to clarify, Minister, there's very people are also advised the type of they are planting in different ecological zones. I agree with seed companies of these seeds of agriculture, which you are told is a medium seed. You discover is flowering, and why is the Minister of Energy very happy, Madam Speaker? Are you in a position, Honorable Minister, to assure the very hard-working farmers who have responded to the call by His Excellency farmers and rich regions? I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the Member of Parliament for Chama South for that question. Madam Speaker, my assurance is to the extent that we shall from time to time issue weather bulletins, rainfall bulletins to the Ministry of Agriculture and the other sectors, As to the issue of what variety of seed must be planted, I think we have experts under the Ministry of Agriculture, and I'm consoled by the fact that the MP has already started the engagement with the Minister of Agriculture, and I can only encourage him to pursue that so that he gets the correct information in terms of the variety of seed. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honourable Member for Lundazi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving a chance to the people of Lundazi to make a follow-up question. Honourable Minister, in your statement, you indicated that the New Dawn has been very appropriate in responding to drought-resistant challenges which have been faced by the country. I would like to state that there are boreholes which have been sunk under the office of the Vice President in Kanolo, in Kavindula, but up to today, they haven't been fitted with equipment, and our animals are dying because there is still a serious water challenge. However, the question that I have for you is the information that you give on the floor of the House are matching orders. In this case, the people of Eastern Province, in particular, have been guided that rains are starting in November. Now, this multi-sectoral approach that we are talking about, our Minister of Agriculture there has not paid our farmers up to today, meaning that they cannot prepare adequately for the farming season. What are you going to do? Because our farmers now are in panic concerning your information, which is rains starting in the next 28 days, and him not releasing the monies to our farmers. I submit.
Order, Honourable Members. The Honourable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Madam Speaker, I think that the question is way out of the statement I've issued. I think to begin to talk about the farmers and the payments of the farmers has completely nothing to do with the statement. But suffice to just say that preparation of the farmers does not just start with the issues of inputs and the others. It's also even just the digging and ensuring that the fields are well prepared. I think that's how far I can go in responding to that question. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Mandevu.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to ask the Minister a question. Minister, thank you for that resourceful statement on the rain forecast for the 2025-2026 rain season. As a farmer, I'm very excited and very grateful for that information. As a Member of Parliament for a peri-urban area which is an planned settlement, that information brings with it a nightmare. I think you know because we're in the same district. You have indicated some negative effects that will come as a result of the rain season, such as mosquitoes. We may have flash floods, and as you may be aware, 87% of Lusaka district uses on-site sanitation, meaning that they use pit latrines. And so with the rain season coming, it then means that you use shallow wells, drinking water from those shallow wells. Madam Speaker, I pray that the Vice President will be able to come and complement this statement so that we'll ask further questions. But I just wanted to ask, what comforting message do you have for the people of Mandevu and Lusaka district and other areas that uses on-site sanitation in terms of government response towards the negative effects that come with the rain season? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the Member of Parliament from Mandevu, who happens to be my neighbor in terms of our constituencies, for that question. Madam Speaker, like I said in my statement, quoting that we are going to have normal to above normal rains. This also comes with various challenges, and my message to the peri-urban communities is that let us ensure that we prepare in those areas which are prone to floods. We must begin to prepare so that we are not caught unaware. But this information also goes to the local authorities so that we begin to prepare the blocked drainages that usually cause localized flooding, that they must be opened up, they must be freed of any debris in there. So this statement, like I said, is a call to action in terms of preparedness. And it must be for all of us, starting from the local authorities in terms of drainages, and also the issue you raise, the poor sanitation issues in the communities. We need also to work with the local authorities. We need to work with the ward development committees, the councillors, to ensure that they have this information, that we are likely to receive some floods in some of these communities, and it is important that we prepare adequately to ensure that our people are not inconvenienced. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Lubansenshi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The people of Lubansenshi are happy to ask a follow-up question. Honorable Minister, on the issue of preparedness, we said it's every citizen responsibility to ensure that we safeguard the resources of this country. Madam Speaker, I would like to draw back the Minister to 2024-2025 rain season. This issue really disadvantages the people of Lubansenshi, who are supposed to benefit from network towers. But because of that situation, it made some changes. Up to now, we are crying as the people of Lubansenshi because the money went or channeled to that. Now, Honorable Minister, my question to you is, have you identified, together with the line ministries and, of course, Office of the Vice President, areas that you are very much sure that when rain season starts, definitely government will spend resources on the issue of floods? I'll give you an example of Kanyama, because almost every year we do experience flooding. We have wetland in Bangweru areas. This is towards rain season. We expect that the intervention before rain season would have been executed so that that procurement processes and other things, we don't spend what we are not supposed to spend. So my question to you, do you have places or areas where government didn't pay attention, but when rain season comes, definitely they're going to be affected? And what action are you taking place to ensure that we avoid that? I submit.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Unfortunately, the question was asked in a meandering way. It's really difficult to pick. But just to say, Madam Speaker, that I have indicated what is expected in terms of 2025-2026 rainfall pattern. What remains now is that the different players must pick this information and run with it to prepare for what is coming. And what is coming is that we are going to have normal to above normal rainfall. And what follows with that is that we are likely to have flash floods. So we need to prepare. In terms of identifying places Madam Speaker, we have different wings of government responsible for such undertakings. And one such is the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit. And I want to believe that they have already identified those places. And in terms of what action to be undertaken, the DMMU would be better placed to respond to that. So, Madam Speaker, it's the issue of all of us being prepared. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The last question will be from the Honorable Member for Zambezi East.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, through you, Honorable Minister, I'm glad that you stated that you would be giving information to the Minister of Agriculture concerning the weather patterns or the forecast for the weather. What I didn't get from you in terms of assurance is whether there will be that collaboration to ensure that our farmers are well informed in terms of when to actually plant, as to whether the information from you would trigger the Minister of Agriculture to disseminate that information that will reach our farmers to decide when to actually plant, and also to observe the patterns within the rainy season, especially those that disturb the plant, the short spells of drought, including the influx of pests that go with those short spells of drought. Is the Honorable Minister of Agriculture going to, in like manner, come to update this House through us so that the farmers out there are well informed to the point that we will not have anything to disturb this nice trajectory of a bumper harvest? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Since the Honorable Minister of Agriculture is just there, you could have just dropped him a note. That is on a lighter note, because I don't believe that the Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment will be able to answer on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Agriculture. But maybe he can attempt. It looks like they coordinating very well. The Honorable Minister of Green Economy and Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also want to thank the Member of Parliament for Zambezi East for that question. Madam Speaker, I want the MP to be assured that we collaborate very well with the Ministry of Agriculture and the other ministries that require this information, and this collaboration will continue. As to whether the Minister of Agriculture will come and issue a ministerial statement, it's really entirely up to the Minister. I think this will not come from our end. But I think that in terms of collaboration, the information that we are giving and the bulletins that we are giving are going to officers in the ministry who are supposed to use that information to begin to make decisions in terms of what to inform the farmers as to when they should start planting. So this information is packaged for various use. For example, agriculture, and then agriculture officers will go now into the various provinces, the fields, as per the advisories that we are going to give and give the relevant information. So I just want to emphasize that the collaboration has been there, and it will be strengthened to ensure that we do not deviate from what has been achieved so far, Madam Speaker. The bumper harvest that we have witnessed, we want it to be strengthened so that there's food security not only in the country but in the region. So we'll continue to play our role as through Meteorological Department to ensure that correct information is given timely so that our farmers can continue producing the food for our use and also for exports. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. We make progress. Questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80. Order, honorable members. Questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80. The honorable member for Katombola.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity given to the people of Katombola constituency to ask question number 26. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister for Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Member of Parliament for Katombola asks the Minister of Education, A, when the newly introduced secondary school curriculum for Forms 1 to 4 will be circulated to all the schools countrywide. B, how many secondary schools in the Kazungola district are ready to implement the new curriculum by January 2026? C, what the names of the schools at BR? D, whether there are any challenges envisaged to affect the implementation of the new curriculum? And E, if so, what the challenges are? And F, what the proposed solutions to the challenges are. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that A, the newly introduced secondary school curriculum 2023 for Forms 1 to 4 is not merely being circulated, but instead being rolled out in phases to all schools countrywide, including those in Kazungola districts. Phase 1, which commenced in 2025, covered Form 1. Phase 2, beginning in 2026, will extend the rollout to Form 2. Thereafter, the curriculum will be implemented in Form 3 in 2027, and finally in Form 4 in 2028. B, the House may wish to note that there are 20 secondary schools in Kazungola district that are already implementing and will continue to implement the new curriculum by January 2026. C, the names of the schools referred to in B are as follows: 1, Kauwe, 2, Nyawa, 3, Nguva, 4, Mokoni, 5, Songwe, 6, Kazungola, 7, Lumbo, 8, Kaunga, 9, Riverview, 10, Katapazi, 11, Kasensa, 12, Sokotwane, 13, Simango, 14, Kabuyu, 15, Mandia, 16, Katombora, 17, Kawewa, 18, Mabwa, 19, Magunga, and 20, Momba. D, the House may wish to note that, as with any other major policy reform, the implementation of the new curriculum is not without challenges. Some of the key challenges envisaged include inadequate supply of teaching and learning materials aligned with the new curriculum, limited capacity among some teachers to effectively deliver competence-based education, infrastructure constraints, including overcrowded classrooms, inadequate specialized facilities for practical subjects, and insufficient staff accommodation, and finally, the budgetary limitations which may affect the timely provision of resources across all schools. F, to address these challenges, government has put in place the following measures: construction of full-fledged boarding schools alongside weekly boarding facilities to cater for learners who cover long distances, scaling up the provision of curriculum-aligned teaching and learning materials countrywide, enhancing continuous professional development and in-service training programs to strengthen teacher capacity for effective curriculum delivery, expanding school infrastructure with particular focus on classrooms, laboratories, workshops, and staff houses to support practical learning and progressively increasing budget allocations towards curriculum implementation, complemented by collaboration with cooperating partners to bridge resource gaps. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions, the Honorable Member for Katombola.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the robust response. From the 20 schools, how many schools, Honorable Ministers, in phase 1, how many have you allowed currently to go ahead and provide Form 1 to Form 4? I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Education.
I'm not quite sure about the question, Madam Speaker, because the question was
probably can you repeat?
Yes.
Honorable Member for Katombola, just be clear on the specific question that you are asking.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, I was saying, because you said the Form 1 to Form 4 is being rolled out in a phased manner. So it's based on that answer that I asked you to say, in Katombola, Katombola constituents, how many have you allowed to offer Form 1 to Form 4? So that I have an idea whether it's just one secondary school, the whole chiefdom, the whole constituency, or it is all the 20 schools. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Education.
Madam Speaker, I said that the House may wish to note that there are 20 secondary schools in Kazungula district that are already implementing and will continue to implement the new curriculum even in 2026 as the phase 2 come to the fore.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chengi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, it's quite worrying that the curriculum has not yet been done in full. I thought before the implementation of this changing from grades to forms, the first thing that was supposed to be worked on was supposed to be the curriculum and the textbooks. Madam Speaker, as we speak, the Form 1s do not even have textbooks. Even these others in the primary schools, because there's been a change of the curriculum. Now I want to know why the government started with implementing without putting the curriculum first, and also the textbooks and other things that would come first before a implementation, because most of these kids who are in schools now, Madam Speaker, there's free education, they're packed, but they don't have a proper curriculum. I want to know why the government started with implementation without the curriculum. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm not quite sure what she really wanted to say, but she said, how did you start implementing the curriculum? But the curriculum which is being implemented.
I think the Honorable Member wanted to know why the implementation started without the curriculum being in place. I think that's what she wanted to. Honorable Member for Chiengi, that's what you wanted to know?
Precisely, Madam Speaker.
So, I don't know. The Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, the curriculum is in place. We wrote the curriculum first, took it to Cabinet, it was approved. It was upon approval that we started rolling it out. So the curriculum was written first, and it started in 2023. This is a 2023 curriculum, started implementing in 2025. So all the 2 years was about working on the curriculum.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Durumwezi.
Madam Speaker, I thank you very much. Honorable Minister, thank you very much for your government for giving us enhanced CDF which to some extent is addressing the infrastructure development in our constituencies. You are aware that Katombora is one of the largest constituencies in the province, that southern province. Is there any money that you've put aside for 2026 for infrastructure development in the constituency to reduce the challenges that the people or the peoples are facing in that particular constituency? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Education.
The 2026 budget is being looked at this time around. All I know is that because I had a check on it, there's 300 million kwacha which has been put in place, not necessarily for infrastructure, but what my eyes see are for those materials that would be rolled out the next year. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Shwangandu.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the question posed by the Honorable MP for Katombora affects, I think, most of our schools in rural areas. You will recall that earlier this year, you facilitated a workshop for us members of Parliament to engage the Honorable Minister's ministry with his technocrats to understand how they were implementing this new curriculum. And what came out very clear in there was that there were really serious challenges. One, the issue of connectivity, because we were told by his technocrats, the minister's technocrats, that they had started distributing materials, learning materials online. Now, we shared with them that connectivity in most of the rural areas is a challenge. Whilst it was easier in urban schools where schools could use initiatives to print out some materials, it wasn't the same with rural areas. What I would like to find out from the Honorable Minister is whether in the budget for 2025, there is money appropriated for provision of materials, for the new curriculum. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
So the budget for 2025 or 2026?
2026, Madam Speaker, because we didn't see anything in 2025.
The Honorable Minister of Education.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I think I've just answered when I said 300 million has been put aside for materials. So 2026 is covered. And 300 million kwacha is quite big enough for us to cover. But some of the textbooks are being distributed even as I speak now. But for 2026, yes, the money is there. It will wait for us here to approve. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We move. Next question, the Honorable Member for Ron.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 27.
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Honorable George Chibuye, Member of Parliament for Ron constituency, asked the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security the following questions. A, how many cases of rape and defilement were recorded by the Zambia Police Service countrywide from January 2021 to July 2025, year by year? B, of the cases above, how many convictions were secured? C, what the mostly affected age group was? And D, what measures are being taken to address the prevalence of sexual offenses? Madam Speaker, in responding to the questions asked by the Honorable Member of Parliament, I wish to inform the House as follows. A, the Zambia Police Service recorded a total of 1,002 cases of rape and a total of 4,978 cases of defilement, shown year by year hereunder. Cases of rape recorded year 2021, 194. 2022, 246. 2023, 232. 2024, 200. 2025, 130. Cases of defilement recorded. Year 2021, 998. 2022, 1,177. 2023, 1,172. 2024, 1,070. 2025, 561. B. From the reported cases, 346 convictions were secured for rape and 1,978 convictions were secured for development cases, tabulated year by year here and 1. Year 2021, convictions 194, 2022, 246. Sorry, Madam Speaker. Convictions 57, 2021, 2022, 94, 2023, 108, 2024, 77, 2025, 10. Convictions in defilement cases, 2021, 436, 2022, 525, 2023, 480, 2024, 476, 2025, 61. C. The most affected age group in rape cases is females aged between 17 to 25, while in the defilement cases, it is girls aged 5 to 13 years. D. The Zambia Police Service has put in place, among others, the following measures to address sexual offenses. 1. Conducting sensitizations in community schools, marketplaces, and churches on sexually related offenses. 2. Training community leaders on gender-based violence, GBV sex offenses. 3. Capacity building of police officers on how to handle victims of sexual offenses. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Ron.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for the statement or the response coming from the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs. And the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs, I want to welcome you back. I didn't see you, my other brother, for some time. Welcome back. Madam Speaker, emanating from the statement that the Minister has given, gives me quite a number of worries, both in rape cases and defilement. If you look at the statistics that he has given, year by year, in terms of rape versus defilement in each particular year, it looks like there hasn't been enough decrease in numbers even when convictions were attained. Honorable Minister, last time His Excellency the Republican President came to address this House on the progress that has been made on the applications of national standards and morals. During the debate, Madam Speaker, on the presidential speech, the Minister of Justice, our able Minister of Justice, stood there and complained lamentably as to why older men were going for younger girls aged 5 to 13 years, defying them, and she stated, leaving people like her, but going for small children. Madam Speaker, the Minister of Justice, who lamentably complained, is the holder of the justice system in this country. My question to the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs is that even when your men and women in uniform are trying by all means, Minister, in securing convictions, it appears there is no retardation in terms of decrease in these cases. Is your ministry or the government through your ministry and the Minister of Justice not thinking of coming up with punitive measures, Honorable Minister, that will actually deter or stop someone before acting to think twice, such as castration or indeed putting them as unbailable offenses, especially, Honorable Minister, defiling a young girl as young as 5 years. Just last week, Honorable Minister, sorry to say this, one officer in Southern Province defiled a young girl of 6 years old. Is your minister not thinking of bringing up to this House so that we can pass some laws that will indeed bring to a halt such incidences. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Honorable Chiwe, for that very important question. I'm aware that my colleague, the Minister of Justice, is preparing legislation pertaining to issues of sentences that will be meted out against those who will be defiling or raping our women rather. So very soon she's going to come up with that. But I would like to state that stiff punishments per se alone do not deter those who intend to commit offenses. You may be aware that murder, aggravated robberies, they are not bailable, but the numbers are increasing. It's not a deterrent per se. We have to find other ways and means to address these issues. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Lukulu East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. This is a very good question, and I want to congratulate my colleague, the Honorable Member for Ron, for having raised this very, very important question. Madam Speaker, I've noticed that the number of convictions are actually low compared to the number of cases from the reports that the Minister has given. Somewhere around 40 to 50% conviction rate, meaning that many of these cases are actually ending up probably in acquittals or just dying off like that. What could be the reason for this, Honorable Minister? Is it poor investigative capacity or some other reason? Would we be able to know why?
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Honorable Kalida, for that question. There are many reasons that attribute to the low convictions. One of the major reasons was the lack of DNA laboratories. Fortunately, we have a laboratory now that is able to analyze, the specimens which we use in these cases. I'm very confident that going forward, a number of these perpetrators will be convicted. The other reason, Madam Speaker, has to do with the families. Usually when such a case happens, most of the family members are not willing to expose their child to court processes. And usually there is also court settlements which families undertake. We have guided that as a service, we are not going to allow anyone to withdraw cases pertaining to rape or defilement, so that there is a deterrence pertaining to these cases.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chimwemwe.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, if we talk about rape victims, we usually relate it to females. 2-3 weeks ago, we had a male who was raped in Mfumbwe. I wonder whether the data that you've given us also incorporates the male victims, because we really do have them. One special case is 3 weeks ago. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Madam Speaker, the question was very specific. The Honorable Member was raising an issue pertaining to defilement of ladies and young girls. If it was general defilement or rape, would have brought out that issue. We are aware that a number of men have been raped. A number of small boys have been defiled by women. We are aware of that. Yes.
Although when I read the question, it is more general. It says, how many cases of rape and defilement were recorded by the Zambia Police Service countrywide from January 2021 It's not referring to girls or boys, it's just a general question. Maybe the Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for that correction. At an appropriate time, we'll be able to bring out that information. And as you may have noted, it is up to July 2025. That case in Mfumbwe happened 2 weeks ago. That's why we are not able to capture it.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Ron.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, once more. Honorable Minister, thank you very much for the insightful response that you are giving. Honorable Minister, 5 to 13 years are indeed very innocent souls, and it really pains me. These convictions your ministry has secured. What has happened to the affected children, those that were raped 5 to 13 years? What remedial measures or what comfort, what measures is your ministry taking, if there is any other ministries, to try to rebuild these souls that has been broken by such activities? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we collaborate with the Ministry of Community Services and the Ministry of Health to ensure that these children are counseled and they are supported. It's traumatic, Madam Speaker, for our children to go through such, torment. We do provide services.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kanchibia.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. And a very important response and a question by the Honorable Member for Ron, very important response from the Minister. Madam Speaker, representing the rural people of Kanchibia, and I think I speak for a number of colleagues from rural communities and those from urban areas, we have a situation where most of these rape victims and victims of defilement, especially the girl child, end up pregnant. And when they get pregnant, it appears that society has no any other way to help them out. The only thing that the legal framework will provide would be for them to deliver. And some of these pregnancies and rape cases, defilement cases, Madam Speaker, are arising from incestuous relationships. It will be an uncle, it will be a parent, it will be etc. Would there be a thinking, for maybe this House, and I know I'm asking the Minister, but that we need to reform and look at ways of how can we prevent and protect and help the girl child going forward, especially those who find themselves pregnant as a result of rape and defilement. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As I indicated earlier, we have a dedicated department under the Ministry of Community Services that looks after girls or boys who find themselves in such a situation. There are homes that have been reserved to accommodate victims of rape, defilement. And we have a program where we look after girls who have been made pregnant as a result of this unfortunate situation.
Honorable members, we need to make progress. I'm looking at time. Next question, the Honorable Member for Feira.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question 28.
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Emmanuel Tembo, Member of Parliament for Feira constituency, asked the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security when the government will decentralize the issuance of passports to the district. Madam Speaker, in responding to the question asked by the Honorable Member, I wish to state as follows. The government does not have immediate plans to decentralize the issuance of passports to the district level. passport printing will remain partially centralized due to operational and security considerations. Currently, Zambia has 3 passport printing office centers. 1, Lusaka, serving Lusaka, Eastern, Central, and Muchinga provinces. 2, Ndola, covering Copperbelt, Luapula, Northern and Northwestern provinces, and Livingstone, serving Southern and Western provinces. Accordingly, while passport applications can be submitted in all 10 provinces, only 3 have printing facilities. The remaining 7 provinces function as receiving and issuance centers only. This centralized model, along with the guidance from International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, which favors a centralized passport printing to ensure high levels of security, consistent production quality, and efficient use of infrastructure. Additionally, ICAO recommends that passport printing centers be established only where there is a minimal annual applications volume of approximately 15,000 applications. When combined with the high cost of specialized equipment, infrastructure demands, and the need for a cost-benefit and risk analysis, establishing printing centers at the district level is presently not feasible. The current arrangement of 3 printing centers is adequate and continues to serve the nation effectively and efficiently. To further enhance accessibility, the government is onboarding passport services into the government sales bus and payment. This initially will allow citizens to apply for passports online from the comfort of their homes, track the progress of their applications in real time. 3, receive their passports via a courier delivery service directly to their residences. Madam Speaker, I'm aware that the last few days, the social media has been awash with the reports of queues at the passport center, and there were allegations that the situation is embarrassing to the Zambian government and that we have not done anything to digitize passport issuance in the country. Through this medium, Madam Speaker, I want to announce to the nation that the UPND government is methodical. We have been working through Smart Zambia and ZICTA and other authorities to ensure that we digitize. And we have digitized. In the next few weeks, before the end of the month, we will allow citizens to start applying for passports online. We were not in a hurry. As you are aware, it's a security document. And recently we arrested a number of foreigners who were accessing passports. We could not be reckless just to introduce a system that can be abused by individuals. That we are able to issue passports through the digitization system. I would like to assure members of the public that we are going to do what they have been requesting. We accept constructive criticism, but we will not encourage emotional outbursts over a matter that can be resolved if you ask and request for information. I am now informing the nation that we have gone digital. Before the end of the month, members of the public will be allowed to access these facilities online. But we have to also take into account that the rural areas have a challenge also. So we will still continue allowing manual applications because of the way the digital space is in the country. So It's an assurance I'm making to the nation. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Fairer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Minister, for your response. And indeed, apparently, this question was raised before the incident that you're referring to on social media. I appreciate digitalization of these processes, which I think is a step forward. And I also take note that you've raised the issue of rural areas, and that's my concern. And whilst it has been very expensive for people in rural areas to travel into Lusaka and many other centers to access this, and at the end, by the time they get the passport, they would have spent quite a lot. Now, my question relates to perhaps opening an office. Would you consider opening a passport office within, the registration office to receive from local people once they are printed elsewhere and obviously checked elsewhere? I think that is our concept, because finally what we want is to cut costs as people seek these passports. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
It's a noble request, Madam Speaker. We will consider it.
The Honorable Member for Mwandi.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Minister, for that statement, and also the strides that you've made to make sure that we can move into the digital space. My question, Honorable Minister, to you, however, is that we are want to digitalize the passports, whilst the national registration cards still remain not digital. How are we going to make sure that when the digitalization is done, we are able to do this online? It's also moving in tandem with the digital ID. I submit.
The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you may recall that I came to this House and I issued a statement pertaining to digitization of the NRCs. What we have done as a responsible government is to defer the issuance of digital IDs as we are progressing towards the elections. We don't want members of the public and the opposition to complain pertaining to this issue. Hence, we have decided to defer until after the elections. Immediately after the elections, we'll give out digital IDs.
Thank you. We make progress. The next question, the Honorable Member for Kanchiria.
Question 29, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister for Education.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mr. Chanda of Kanchiria constituency asks the Minister of Education, A, when the teachers who have been in acting positions for over a year in Kanchiria district will be confirmed, B, what the cause of the delay in confirming the teachers is, C, what measures are being taken to ensure that teachers who are in acting positions are given letters of appointment on time, and D, when teachers in the district will start receiving their rural and remote hardship allowances. Madam Speaker, I wish to clarify and inform the House that A, government has been confirming teachers who have served in acting positions beyond the prescribed period in Kanchiria district. The House may wish to note that the confirmation of teachers is an ongoing process undertaken whenever positions for vacant or are created. Accordingly, the government will continue to confirm teachers who have acted beyond the prescribed period as and when funded positions become available. B, the delays in confirming eligible teachers in acting positions are primarily due to the dependence of the process on the availability of funded vacancies. This situation has at times resulted in teachers serving in acting capacities for longer than anticipated. And C, the House may further wish to note that following the operationalization of the Service Commission Act number 10 of 2016, Through the Teaching Service Commission regulations of 2020, measures have been instituted to ensure timely issuance of appointment letters. Specifically, the Teaching Service Commission has decentralized the confirmation process to the Human Resource Management Committees at district level. This measure has significantly reduced delays by eliminating the requirement to forward cases to the ministry headquarters or the Teaching Service Commission, as was previously the case. As a result, confirmations are now processed expeditiously at district level, thereby ensuring that deserving teachers are duly recognized and formally appointed without undue delay. D. With regards to rural and remote hardship allowances, the House may wish to know that the award of such allowances is an ongoing exercise and is effected once the requisite conditions are met. These conditions include the classification of the school as rural or remote and the establishment of an appropriate pay point. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Kanchibia.
Madam Speaker, thank you, and Honourable Minister, thank you so much for the statement. I wish to just place on record that the ministry could probably look at Kanchibia as a special case in this regard, because majority of those enacting positions and who've acted for a very long period have not been confirmed. I thought of bringing this to the attention of the ministry because of the effect as in terms of morale, etc., on your staff. But maybe, Madam Speaker, before I ask my question, I'll be failing in my duty if I don't commend the Minister and the Ministry for helping us to push on the infrastructure side of the education sector. We've had schools which had stood for over 10 years and which are now construction sites. Coupled with this, the concern now becomes, how do we motivate your human resource working in Kanchibia? And so my question would be whether the Ministry would be taking any step to request for a report from the District Education Board with regard to the status as regards confirmations for the people of Kanchibia, the teachers in Kanchibia. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Education.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Since the request is coming from Kanchibia, I think we can sit down with him and I'll be able to ask the office to talk to the DEBs. I know probably where the problem is coming from. I think it should be about gazetting some of the schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Kanchibia, you want to ask another question?
Madam Speaker, may we just add it to the request that I've made that the dimension to do with the allowances, the hardship allowances for the teachers could also be looked into as the ministry gets a report from Kanchibia. Your people are ready, and I think Kanchibia meets the prerequisites which I think would qualify our teachers to benefit or to be entitled to this particular allowance. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister, do you want to comment?
Yes, I think Kanchibia is a new district, isn't it? I think maybe that's where the problem could lie. So I think we'll check on that as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, then we move. Motion, the Honorable Member for Kasama Central.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that this House do adopt the report of the Parliamentary Select Committee appointed to scrutinize the presidential appointment of Dr. Pamela Sambo, Dr. Felicity Kalunga, Bishop Emmanuel Yona Chikoya, Ms. Panik Malawo Chilufya, Ms. Laura Mary Miti, and Father Joseph Komakoma to serve as Chairperson, Vice Chairperson, and Commissioners of the Human Rights Commission HRC Board, respectively.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded?
I second the motion, Madam Speaker.
Seconded by the Honorable Member for Luena. The question is that this House adopts the report of the Parliamentary Select Committee appointed to scrutinize the presidential appointment of Dr. Pamela Sambo, Dr. Felicity Kalunga, Bishop Emmanuel Yona Chikoya, Ms. Panik Malao Chilofia, Ms. Rora Mary Miti, and Father Joseph Komakoma to serve as chairperson, vice chairperson, and commissioners of the Human Rights Commission Board, respectively, for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 30th September 2025. Any debate? The Honorable Member for Kasama Central.
Madam Speaker, the appointment of Dr. Pamela Sambo, Dr. Felicity Kalunga, Bishop Emmanuel Yonachikoya, Ms. Panik Malao Chilufya, Ms. Laura Mary Miti, and Father Joseph Komakoma to serve as chairperson, vice chairperson, and commissioners of the HRC board is made pursuant to Section 7 of the Human Rights Commission Act number 4 of 2024. Madam Speaker, Article 230(1) of the Constitution, Chapter 1 of the Laws of Zambia, establishes the Human Rights Commission, HRC, which is an integral part of Zambia's democratic dispensation. Its primary mandate is to safeguard and promote human rights in Zambia in accordance with the Constitution, the Human Rights Commission Act number 4 of 2024, and regional and international human rights conventions and protocols to which Zambia is a party. In this regard, the committee resolved that only persons with proven integrity, competence, and above all, who had demonstrated knowledge and experience in the protection and promotion of human rights should be appointed as members of the Commission. Additionally, they should be able to add value to the operations of the HRC and spearhead the effective and efficient execution of its mandate. Madam Speaker, the committee observes that all the state security agencies did not find any adverse records against the nominees. Additionally, all the witnesses that appeared before the committee submitted that the nominees possessed the requisite qualifications and experience and were therefore qualified to serve in their respective positions. The committee notes that the appointments are meritorious as the nominees are qualified to hold their designated positions. In this regard, the committee is confident that the nominees will discharge their duties professionally and impartially. The committee notes that the constitutional requirement on gender equality in Article 259(1)(b) of the Constitution has been adhered to. In this regard, the committee commends the appointing authority for taking gender balance into consideration when making appointments. Madam Speaker, with your indulgence, I will proceed to briefly outline the findings of the committee on each of the nominees. Dr. Pamela Sambo. The nominee is qualified to hold high judicial office, having been a legal practitioner for over 20 years. Additionally, she has vast experience in academia and legal research. The nominee has a stellar record in terms of academics in the legal profession. In addition, she has exceptional legal skills in human rights and environmental law, and with her prior service on the Commission, her appointment will add value to the Commission. Dr. Felicity Kalunga. The committee notes that the nominee is qualified to hold high judicial office, having practiced law for 17 years and gained extensive experience in constitutional reforms and academic research. Her leadership and board service, including as Vice Chairperson of the HRC Board and as Board Member of Disability Rights Watch and the Media Network on Child Rights and Development, reflect her strong commitment to advancing human rights, particularly for children and persons with disabilities. In view of her academic background, legal expertise, and leadership experience, she suitably qualifies for the appointment as Vice Chairperson of the HRC Board. Bishop Emmanuel Yona Chikoya. The committee notes that the nominee holds theological qualifications and has 32 years of pastoral and leadership experience in the Anglican Church. He has also served as General Secretary of the Council of Churches in Zambia. The committee further notes that the nominee has experience in human rights and corporate governance through the various boards he serves on. Given his academic qualifications, pastoral leadership, and service in church and ecumenical institutions, the nominee is suitably qualified for appointment as a member of the HRC board. Ms. Laura Mary Miti. The committee observes that the nominee is a well-known human rights advocate with extensive experience in civil society activism. Many accolades and awards have been bestowed upon the nominee for her activism and passion for human rights and good governance. These include Southern African Human Rights Defender of the Year, Scottish Human Rights Defender Fellow, Activist of the Year 2017, and Most Influential Social Media Activist of 2016. The committee is satisfied that the nominee is highly qualified and has the necessary skills and expertise to serve as Commissioner of the HRC Board. Ms. Panik Malao Chilufya. The committee observes that the nominee holds qualifications in journalism, sociology, and peace studies with 41 years of professional experience. She has served in media, public relations, academia, as president of the University of Zambia Development Studies Association, the Students Living with Disabilities representative, and as a board member of the Human Rights Commission. The committee is satisfied that she is suitably qualified to serve as Commissioner of the HRC Board. Bishop Joseph Komakoma. The committee observes that the nominee holds advanced theological and social science qualifications and has 43 years of service in church leadership and civil society. He has held senior positions at Caritas Zambia, the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops, and the Symposium for Episcopal Conferences of Africa and Madagascar. In this regard, the nominee is suitably qualified to serve as a Commissioner of the HRC Board. The committee, after due and thorough consideration, analysis, and evaluation of the written and oral submissions presented to it by the witnesses and the interviews with the nominees, is of the considered view that all the nominees are of proven integrity, competence, and have demonstrated knowledge and experience in the protection and promotion of human rights. The committee therefore recommends that the House ratifies the presidential appointment of Dr. Pamela Towela Sambo, Dr. Felicity Kalunga, Bishop Emmanuel Yona Chikoya, Father Joseph Komakoma, Ms. Laura Mary Miti, and Ms. Panik Malao to serve as Chairperson, Vice Chairperson, and Commissioners of the Human Rights Commission Board, respectively. In conclusion, the committee wishes to express its gratitude to all the stakeholders who appeared before it and tendered both oral and written submissions. The committee also appreciates your guidance, Madam Speaker, and the service rendered by the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly during its deliberations. Madam Speaker, it is now my pleasure to call upon the House to ratify the appointment before it. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you very much. Does the seconder wish to speak now or later?
Now, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Luena.
Madam Speaker, I wish to thank you most sincerely for the opportunity accorded to me to second this motion. I thank the mover also for ably moving the motion. Madam Speaker, the mover has already adequately emphasized the salient points upon which the committee supports the appointment of these commissioners, namely Dr. Pamela Sambo, Dr. Felicity Kalunga, Bishop Emmanuel Yona Chikoya, Ms. Panik Malao Chilufya, Ms. Laura Mary Miti, and Father Joseph Komakoma to serve as chairperson, vice chairperson, and commissioners on the Human Rights Commission Board, respectively. Madam Speaker, in seconding this motion, I wish to restate the committee's observation that these individuals have proven integrity and competencies, and they have demonstrated knowledge and experience in the promotion of human rights, and therefore the committee wishes to applaud the appointing authority for ensuring that only people with these appropriate competencies were appointed as commissioners of the Human Rights Commission Board. Madam Speaker, the mover has already expressed the committee's satisfaction with the appointing authority for how gender balance was well incorporated in the composition of this board. However, the committee notes that youths and people with disabilities are not represented on this commission. The committee therefore takes note that the nominees presented before the House this afternoon are 6 in number, when the provisions in the Human Rights Commission Act requires the Commission's board to have 7 members. We therefore wish to urge the appointing authority that when an opportunity arises to fill the remaining vacant position, that the person nominated should either be a youth or a person with disability, or better still, we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone by appointing a youth with disabilities. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, I wish to express my gratitude to the chairperson of the committee for the professional, fair, and impartial manner in which he presided over the proceedings of the committee. I also wish to express my sincere gratitude to my fellow committee members for their objectivity, professionalism, and shared commitment to the deliberations of the committee. Madam Speaker, with these few remarks, I beg to second the motion. I thank you.
Thank you. Any further debate? The Honorable Member for Nkana.
Madam Speaker, the President has appointed 6 citizens to sit in the Human Rights Commission as commissioners, as established by the Constitution under Article 230 as amended in the Constitution Amendment of 2016. Madam Speaker, the role of the Human Rights Commission, among many others, is to ensure that they promote and protect the rights and freedoms of citizens. It will be important, Madam Speaker, that as we go into this conversation, before we can even go into the qualifications of the people that have been appointed, we perhaps acquaint ourselves with what are the expectations of these individuals that have been appointed to sit in this commission.
Thank you. As the time is 16:40, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a health break.
Good afternoon. You're tuned into Parliament Television. Great viewing continues right here as business resumes at 17 hours. And on the floor of the House was the Nkana Member of Parliament, Mr. Bino Mpundu, adding his voice to a motion that has been moved by Kasama Central Member of Parliament and seconded by Luena MP. Mr. Mubita Anakoka, urging the House to adopt the report of the Parliamentary Select Committee appointed to scrutinize the presidential appointment of Dr. Pamela Sambo, Dr. Felicity Kalunga, Bishop Emmanuel Yona Chikoya, Ms. Panik Malawo Chilufya, Ms. Laura Mary Miti, and Father Joseph Komakoma to serve as chairperson, vice chairperson, and commissioners of the Human Rights Commission Board, respectively, for the 5th session of the 13th National Assembly laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 30th September 2025. And so debate on this particular motion continues after the break. In case you've just tuned in, we did have a ministerial statement that was delivered by the Minister of Green Economy and Environment, Honorable Mike Mposha, on the 2025-2026 rainy season forecast. The House also considered 4 questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 80. Do stay tuned right here on Parliament Television. Good afternoon.